Hello and welcome back to Life on Earth. Hope you are doing well. Today we're going to be jumping into three really exceptional pieces from three iconic brands, going over them briefly, and then over the coming weeks we will have in-depth videos about each of them. So let's get into it. Today we have three very interesting, very different pieces in their own regards from three pretty exceptional brands that I want to cover with you today. As I mentioned, they all have different styles, different sort of functions, and I think that's what makes watchmaking so exciting. We can start off with the watch on the extreme left here. This is a Girard Perregaux. Make sure I get the focus before we sort of dive into this. But this is a really, really beautiful Girard Perregaux reference 2611 automatic. Stainless steel watches are perfect for every day, and this Girard Perregaux is no exception. This reference 6211 was manufactured in the 1950s. The watch has a stainless steel case that's in very good condition with very few signs of polish or wear. If you look, you can see that the lugs and the sides of this case are in really phenomenal condition given its age. The watch is 32 millimeters in diameter and has long lugs that angle towards the wrist if you look at it from the profile. The watch has an unsigned crown, which I think is typical for this specific reference. As you can see, the white dial has aged really beautifully and turned into this warm sort of cream hue. The dial has applied hour markers and sword hands that I think are really unique. And as you can see, the luminescent material that's in that seconds hand that's going has fallen out, which gives it just an added sort of piece of interesting sort of design language. The watch runs on the caliber 47 BF automatic movement, and obviously has this screwed-on case back, which allows the watch to be a little bit more water resistant, or when it was produced, allowed it to be water resistant. It's 32 millimeters in diameter, so it is going to fit a little bit smaller on one's wrist, but I think the overall condition of this case and general aesthetics of this piece are really attractive. The 3, 6, 9, and 12 numbers on the watch really give it sort of that explorer feel, and I think that's why this is such a cool sort of everyday piece. Moving on, we'll go to a brand that I have spoken about at length. I find them to be one of the most exciting brands to collect, and that is Longines. This is a Longines that was manufactured in 1966. I think the beauty, simplicity, and time-only nature of this watch makes this really a great example of the dress watches that Longines produced, and is a beautiful example of how one can kind of enjoy these sort of time-only dress pieces in every day. As I mentioned, the watch is manufactured in 1966. It has this square 10-karat yellow gold filled case that's in good overall condition. What's really cool about this specific piece is when you look at it from the side. So typically what you see is lugs that will angle towards the wrist, but interestingly these lugs curve upwards towards the dial side of this watch, which I think gives it a really cool sort of atypical design for a watch. As you probably saw, the watch has a signed Longines crown, as you can see there, and it has this really nice sort of silver sunburst dial that has applied hour markers and Longines logo. The watch runs on the caliber 370 manual wind movement, which is a really exceptionally finished movement from Longines during this era. This is another example of a piece that was The movement was manufactured in Switzerland and imported into the USA market. And if you look at the case, you'll see, obviously, stamps that will describe the life that this watch lived before being sold. The last piece that I will be covering is this Bulova diver reference 386-4, nicknamed the 666 feet. We've actually covered one of these on Life on the Wrist before. It was a -1, I believe. This is a -4. This watch is, as many know, considered really an iconic piece in the sort of diver watch community. The watch was manufactured in 1968. It has a stainless steel case that's in good condition. It does have signs of wear, as you would expect with a dive watch from this era. It also has some signs of polishing. If you look at the lugs, they do look a little bit softer, but retain an overall good look to them. The watch has this stainless steel dive bezel, which you can see is bidirectional, and you can see that the top piece here has fallen out. The watch has a signed crown by Bulova and has a really, I think what makes this watch really unique is the black dial. It's aged really, really evenly and really nicely, along with the luminescent material on the hour markers that contrast nicely with the black dial. The hour markers are really fat and creamy, and I think it gives it a really beautiful sort of vintage look that many people are looking for when exploring vintage divers. The watch, as you can see, has a date complication at 3 o'clock, and the watch runs on the caliber 11 AFAC movement. This watch is 35 millimeters, so it actually fits quite nicely in the sort of contemporary realm of wearing watches. I apologize that the focus is not going. There we go. At 35 millimeters, it fits actually quite nicely into sort of the contemporary sizes of watches and can be enjoyed very easily by the wearer, and of course is iconic in sort of the world of dive watches. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of information about each of these pieces. We'll be diving into each of them a little bit more in depth over the coming weeks, as we always do. But I do think that this shows you what a stainless steel everyday watch can look like. A really nice dress piece from an iconic brand, and then an iconic diver it shows you sort of the range of vintage watches, and it's something that I find very important on Life on the Wrist. So I'm looking forward to diving into them with you. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the 3 pieces that we covered in today's video. As I mentioned throughout the video, I think they show the breadth of vintage watches that you can collect, and just the different types of aesthetics that you can get. They come from 3 really exceptional brands, Girard Perregaux, Longines, and Bulova, each in their own right having very interesting histories, and bringing together some really incredible design and watchmaking into sort of the eras that these watches were manufactured. As I mentioned, we will have an in-depth video on each of these pieces over the coming weeks, where I dive into the history of the brand, the reference, as well as the movements and case markings and things you can discover about these pieces and the lives that they have lived. I do think that's really what makes these pieces so special, and if you are not new to the Life on the Wrist, you know that that's sort of what I focus on throughout the videos and articles that we write for Life on the Wrist. So stay tuned over the next coming weeks for those articles and videos. What we do is we post a video on YouTube, and then we also write an article on our website, so you can see both the watch in the metal through a video, and you can also see some additional pictures of the watch. For example, we do take pictures of the movements of each of our pieces, and so you'll be able to see those on our article. If you are new to Life on the Wrist, be sure to subscribe to the channel and share this video with a friend who who might be interested in watches. Let me know which one of these pieces is your favorite right now. I might prioritize those pieces to be the first piece that I cover over the next couple of weeks. If you wouldn't mind liking this video, it really does help me out. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time.